Hello, sweet friends, and welcome back to another episode of Caffeine and Collabing. Alright guys, as always, I have the matcha here, and today we are going to be talking about maximalism versus minimalism. I feel like these two words cause a lot of hype in the fashion community, and I dove a little bit deeper into some research on these terms. I'm just going to break them down for you briefly here before we get into this. So the first term is maximalism. Maximalism is technically defined by excess, bold, and eclectic. So essentially, when it comes to maximalism, yes, there is an excess, but we're not really just talking about an excess of things. We're talking about maybe when you dress, an excess of jewelry, maybe there's a lot of layering. So maximalism, I feel like, is referred to a lot of the time to people who have a lot of clothing, who love fashion, and they just take up a lot of space with their clothes. Maybe they overbuy, I don't know. And realistically, it is just a term that is used to describe somebody who likes to really make the most out of their outfits and use a lot of boldness and color, etc. So that was interesting to me. And here's some examples of a maximalist style. I use Pinterest for this, but I thought that it would be good to just give you guys some ideas about what the word maximalism really entails. And then on the flip side of that, there's minimalism. Minimalism is defined by clean lines, muted tones, and simplicity. We use minimalism in terms of having less, carrying less, etc. Now, obviously, words can be used in multiple different ways. I'm not saying that these terms are not accurate for those who have large amounts of things versus those who have smaller amounts of things and try to live a more minimal life. I'm just saying that I feel like there's never any lines drawn between the two in the fashion industry. And maybe I'm so bold as to say that maximalists tend to have more because they like to do more. And that's okay. So let's get into maximalism versus minimalism. And I just want to touch on a few topics regarding those two words. And maybe I can help y'all out with some clarity, make y'all feel more confident in your choices, and just be you. The first thing I want to talk about is if you're a maximalist or you consider yourself a maximalist, you probably aren't somebody who has less. You're probably somebody who does have more, who likes to have more, and maybe likes to indulge a little bit more, especially when it comes to clothing, accessories, shoes, etc. You might want to be a minimalist, or maybe in your head you're like, man, I feel like being a minimalist is better. And I think that we should kind of take a step back and really sit on the fact that maximalism is really just somebody who enjoys doing more with their style and their fashion, and therefore that is probably why you have more clothes and shoes and accessories, and that there's nothing wrong with that. You're not doing anything wrong by having more, as long as you're utilizing it and you're having fun and you're happy and you're stable. There's nothing wrong with wanting more and having more, particularly when it comes to fashion. I just think that maybe we could all use a little bit of relaxation around the terms maximalism and minimalism. Number two, being minimal or being a minimalist does not make you cooler, and it doesn't make you better. And on the flip side, being a maximalist does not make you cooler, and it does not make you better. At the end of the day, it all comes down to just choosing what's best for you and what makes you the happiest. And once you can accept what you enjoy and what you like, you're not going to feel pressured in either direction. You're just going to be understanding of yourself and the fact that this is what you enjoy, and you're going to utilize that to its largest potential. And I just think it's so important to keep that in mind. Don't pay attention to any pressures around you or people telling you that you do too much, you are too much, or vice versa. You don't do enough. Like, you don't do enough with your outfits. You're so boring. Like, whatever people say. I don't know. People say some crazy things. Just ignore it. And again, find out what makes you the happiest and roll with that and vibe with that and just exude that unapologetically. The next thing I want to talk about is being a maximalist does not make you too over the top, and it does not make you a bad person for indulging in more. I feel like there's this weird consensus or stipulation around having a lot of clothing. There is this opinion that if you have a lot, it is useless and you shouldn't be having that much and it's not necessary. Let's be honest, guys, it probably isn't necessary, but does it make you happy? When you get up in the morning, are you excited to get dressed? Do you feel like you have a playroom? On the flip side of that, you know, if you're more minimal, do you feel like you need to have all these things to fill all these gaps in your wardrobe, but you're finding out that you're actually happier with less, you know, but you were pressured into following all these fast fashion brands, fast fashion ideas, and you just got lost along the way. You know, there's both sides of that coin. And again, it just ties into you're not too over the top and you're not boring. You're just being yourself. And maybe you found out along the way that there were things about your style that you wanted to omit or things that you wanted to include and you just didn't because you were worried about other people's opinions. Nah, B, we don't fly with that here, okay? Just do you. Maximalism, minimalism, they are just terms that are used to describe fashion. Thinking about it in terms of the two words and how they're used so vastly when it comes to spending, to me, is the most interesting thing. And again, one word can have multiple meanings, particularly in the English language. And again, I'm not saying that it is wrong. In hindsight, we put too much pressure on being one or the other. And I don't think that's what it is about. I just think it's about doing what you enjoy. I probably sound like a broken record, but it really is just doing what makes you the happiest. That's really all that matters at the end of the day. And of course, most importantly, you're confident in the way you dress. You're dressing in a way that makes you super duper happy and confident and sexy and all the things, you know, that to me, getting back to our childlike roots, being playful, being experimental, and just enjoying it, I think is really what it is all about. If we could all just take that mindset into consideration before, I'm a maximalist or oh, I'm a minimalist, you know, putting a label on it, I think that would shift our perspective and understanding of what it means to have a wardrobe that we actually love. Throw the labels out. I want you to throw them in the trash can, okay? And I just want you to do what makes you feel your most confident. And I kind of started to dislike the two terms the more I started kind of realizing the negativity that I think followed behind them in certain circumstances. Why aren't we just dressing for ourselves and buying what we love and enjoying each piece? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, guys. Just allow yourself to be, just have fun with fashion and stop putting so much negative pressure on yourself that's probably causing more anxiety and probably causing you to make more decisions that maybe aren't the best for you. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here, hanging out. Hope this helped. If you like this, please comment, subscribe, click the little notification link if you want to be notified when I post more videos. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Love you all. Bye.